All right, we're back in the garage and we got some new presents in. We are getting ready to install some new Metalcloak Fenders on the TJ. So with the way the world's been going lately, I always definitely make sure I open up the boxes and make sure everything's in there that we need, because too many times this year I've got the wrong thing and get ready for a project that we can't even start. But these are the fenders. So these are the inner guards, which are really nice. And then that is the outside of them. We got a battery relocation bracket. I'm getting ready to open up the next box. So we started off this, if you have TJ, good chance there's some rust on it. So last night we kind of lubed everything up. The hardest part is definitely going to be getting these fenders off. So we kind of just put some penetrating oil on the different parts that need to get removed. So there's, I believe, 3 screws right back there. We were gonna have to remove this bracket to take that off of there, and just kind of move these cords right here out of the way. And then under here, we're gonna have those 4 screws. There are 3 screws right here, and this is the driver's side. The passenger side is going to be a little different. And then we have one more screw right here, which is for your hood. So we are going to go ahead and start removing these screws. All right, we're going to start by moving this washer fluid. All right, we're going to bring the bigger drill out, because this guy don't want to really budge yet. So the first bolt that got removed over here was a 1/2 inch. We had to get the bigger drill out, and it came right out. This one is a 3/8 inch. I like start with a small drill so we don't break stuff. Right out the gates, and that one pops straight out. And we have another one right here. I am going to have to go get my extender. All right, got the extender out. Ooh, I'm liking how that penetrating oil worked. That one came right out. This is off to a good start. Save these. I'm going to unplug this. So I'm going to unplug that. And that. So now we can remove this, and that is going to be fine, just sitting right up there. So you just gotta remember, this hose is gonna go back in, this is gonna plug back in, that's gonna remount it. And all right, so next we gotta remove these clips. So we're gonna use our little prying tool, and these guys should pop right out. All right, so there's one. There's 2. There's 3. That one's off. Okay, so we have all the goods that we need off of that. So next we're gonna come down here, and we gotta unplug the fog lights. So that hole right here, you just need to unplug these guys. You got, I believe, 2 sets. I already have this one unplugged because we switched the bumper out, so we don't have the fog lights on there. So we just gotta unplug this one from the headlight, and then this one right over here, which is this guy, and then you just gotta pull that cord right back in through this hole, and then after that we're gonna be able to start removing these bolts to get this fender out of here. Okay guys, so these two, you literally just give them a little half turn. counterclockwise, and it'll come right out. And then that's what this one looks like, which is the headlight. And then next there's a couple more clips in here. All right. And then I'm gonna leave these hanging like this just until we figure out if we're gonna be able to get this fender off or not before I gotta drive it. But we're just gonna leave those guys hanging right down there. Look at that, pretty nice little skid plate there. All right, so next we're gonna attempt to get these front 3 screws out. And the first one was coming, and here comes the fun. Bottom one took a little, so middle one's broke, bottom one took a pretty good few tugs on it to get to loosen up. And then we were able to get it out with this guy. Time to try the top. And third one came out with just a hand socket. That one came out the easiest. There's a tiny little white plate that kind of covered up that rust there. So next we are going to be moving these 4 bolts from that tray. It's part of the fender, so I think it's just, you know, somewhere to put accessories. But yeah, that just gets removed once we get the Metalcloak fenders on. We'll see if that goes back on or not. But we're about to remove that so we can get to these screws that are down this wall here. Now this tray. This guy can come on out and chill. That's dirty. And now we are going to work on getting those 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws out. All right, so we're just gonna, I don't know the best way to get these, but we're gonna start with just a hand wrench. And the top one came loose pretty easy. As we get lower, it's gonna be a little harder, but okay, here's one. Save these in case, actually I sold these fenders for over 500 bucks. You know, they're something a lot of people are looking for. So definitely save everything and don't beat it up taking it off. Now we're taking up the second one from the top. Thank the Lord. Two. See if this socket can reach down there to get number 3 or not. And to get this last one, that was the one I couldn't reach from the top end. There's a little hole right here. I'm gonna try and get it from the bottom end. So yeah, we're gonna get these 4 next. So far, these ones are coming out pretty easy. I'm gonna work on breaking the other ones loose. And I can't really hold the camera while I'm doing that, but I'm gonna break these ones loose and then get the 90-degree angle drill out to take them the rest of the way out. Be right back. These ones are pretty self-explanatory. I am gonna get these last two out and then we'll be back to deal with that. All right, next we're gonna be getting these three guys and then we should almost be there. It's taking forever. Old rusty cars, but at least you can reach these with the drill. Ain't making the same mistake twice. Sharp sheet metal in there, as soon as that thing busts loose, it's gonna bust my hand open. Three. And then now we gotta remove the hood latch. Don't know what just happened there. I got a whole bunch of rust and grease in my face. And this is gonna have to come out so that this fender can come off. All right, so I missed the last two little nuts and the fender's off. Of course, the last two don't want to come off. You got a little 10mm ratchet. It should finally be ready to come on. See you later. That's got to come out first. Alright guys, so next you gotta take this bracket off. We've got the first one off. That screw, it's just the head comes off, that stays there. There's another one right on the opposite side there, and then the new bracket will slide right on top of there. And then this should be fun. You guys won't have this unless you have aftermarket, but our aftermarket step fell off, which is good, so we get rid of it anyway. And I'm gonna have to find a way to get these two bottom ones off as well. Okay, so next we gotta remove these clips. I removed those two. I just lubed them up a little bit and just taken my pry bar. See if I can do it one-handed. still just hate everything that I've taken off of this car. I might have to go to the store and get some clean ones. All right, so we got the passenger side off. So I'm going to obviously do the, we got the driver's side off. I'm obviously gonna do the passenger side too, just for sake of purposes. The repetitive stuff, I'm not going to video in detail, the stuff that's the exact same as the driver's side, but I will definitely highlight the main differences that are gonna take place on the passenger side. All right, guys, finally got the cancer off the TJ and starting to put the goods on. So this is going to be the same on the driver and passenger side. It's going to be a little bit different on the driver's side. It's got to remount some of the battery stuff. But it goes on just like this, slides into those two bolts. When you undo them, just the heads come off, and they'll still hit you. Slide that right over there. And then right under here, those are going to go into where I had to get the cancer off of this one. Hopefully yours are not as bad. So you remount it using the factory hardware. So I'm going to go back to my little pile to find what we need. So you use these clips right here. So I'm going to just grab 4 of them. And then these clips slide on the top of this, just like they were before. And I'm being lazy. I'm not going to go get nice new ones. I'm sure this stuff is not as bad as I thought. So all right, guys, so you put the factory hardware after you slide these right back on. These 2 bolts, looks like there's 3 down here, but for the TJ, there's only those 2 bolts that I see. So these are what came off of there, and you're gonna screw them right back on there. I had a couple of mine break off, so I am going to need to, of course, go to the store and match these to get the rest of them. But these are 2 of the ones that I took off the bottom. These are the ones I was calling cancer earlier, but you can see it did break the tip of those threads off in the actual bolt. So I'm gonna have to go to the store and get 2 extras. All right, so I did end up going to the store to get some new clips to put on that bracket before we finish installing the driver's side fender. I also got a bunch of new bolts that should work just fine to get rid of all these rusty crap. That way, if we ever take it apart again, it's much easier. All right, so we're gonna put some new clips on here. So if you do need new clips, this is what they look like. I just got them at Napa Auto Parts. This model number is what will fit your factory bolts that were in there. And I also got, I just got new bolts as well. Clips on. Next, in the instructions calls to put the bolts back on these little screws that are coming outward. So you got 2 here, and then this underneath plate mounts 2, and that's what holds this whole bracket. It just has the hand tight and everything for now, so I'm just gonna slide these on. I'm gonna start down here. And one of the factory, this is what the factory ones look like, but one of these still looks just about perfect, so. All right, guys, so we're getting ready to install the fender. So the first thing you gotta do, use the factory screws And these two holes, there's 3 holes. So this is right behind the grill. There's 3 holes here. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And the bottom 2 go on the bottom 2 here. And one thing you will see, we've got a nice opening. And of course we get to the one that I need, and the screw busted off. And then the bottom one is a nice opening as well. So since I have to use the middle one and not 2 of the available ones, we are going to just put a little bit of penetrating oil on there, and now we're going to heat it up a little bit, and then we are going to tap it out.
Now I can get it from the back side.
This one has been a pain in the ass, but you needed to put the fender on. Stuck. Can't be drilled, can't be touched. Coming out from the headlight.
So we're going to make it disappear.
Gone.
That's the damn thing. It's hot enough to be melting.
So on the driver's side, you got to remove this fuse box, or just 3 screws that come out pretty easy, and then take the battery out and the battery tray out. And the battery tray is going to be a little bit harder of the bolts to get out, but they came out with a big impact gun. And next, we've got 2 those bolts on the left side there. Down here, we got to remove those 4, just like the passenger side, and then the fender should come off. We already had our air filter removed because we have this guy in there, but if you have your stock one, then you'll have to remove your air filter box as well.
Doesn't matter what's in the way, really.
Well, we're at Clayton's house now because I didn't have all the right tools, but this is going to make getting those bottom 3 bolts off way easier with that attachment.
Busted.
No.
They don't fight the same thing, Shane? Can you give me a crescent wrench? I have one out. Hardware is what they give you. I don't know why not to use it.
So we are using the stuff that came with it for the bottom of the fender. We are not using clips, but we are going to use the clips on the top. First thing that goes in is these up here, and you can see we had to modify a little bit because the bolt got stuck, but these ones go in, pretty self-explanatory, and then these 4 go in. So then the black piece goes under the silver piece. You put these 2 in with the factory hardware, and then your 4 bolts that go right down. And we're missing a bottom one, but we're gonna wait till we get the side rails before we figure out what we're gonna do with that. And we'll see if we can tighten down without them breaking, but they look nice. And you guys get the picture, but tighten those 4 down, and then you're gonna come up here and tighten those front 2 down after. Hood brackets broke, so we're putting new ones on. Got some rugged ridge ones, all they had in stock at the store, so we're going with them. So that goes, so your hood brackets are gonna go through here and then come up underneath to attach them. So these outside 2 bolts go on the outside, so you can see here they're supposed to go in there, so now we've got to take everything back off. The inside ones are fine to go ahead and put on when you put the silver piece on, but the black piece, save the 2 outside bolts to go on until you install the actual black part. those tightened. And then these just come up from underneath. These are the small factory screws. Make sure you tighten that battery bracket down before you install the heat shield on the outside. All right.
There's 18 different things that you have to line up.
All right. Yeah. Otherwise, don't go in tight. So you just grab the two little screws, and you can pick whatever holes that you want from the small holes on this battery bracket to mount the vacuum box. What you want to do before you install it on the driver's side.
Passenger
Passenger side.
Come on now.
Alright, so vacuum box is mounted. We have two more broken ones here and here, which we're going to wait until we get the rest of the body armor, the side rails, see what they all tie into before we fix anything. We're just remounting this on the passenger side and about to put some clips. We got new clips to put on there, and just going to put clips on the top,
Do you know if
outside four corners.
outside?
Yep. I used a little. There we go. Yeah, you don't, and you do not need clips on the driver's side because there's nothing that goes there, unless you maybe want to mount to something else, and then you can throw some clips on there. But you do not need any clips on the bracket on the driver's side. So we're going to mount the battery tray, which goes right into the little clips that we just installed, and you can remount that with the factory hardware, which is self-explanatory. So
Do you want to grab a...
So next, inner fender is going on. What is this? Here we go. What do you think? Should I pull these lights in? These lights need to come on the inside of that.
My job was to install the lights, not to move the lights.
Yeah, lights go on the inside. And there's just a... All right, there we go. It's going in the bottom too, just like the other side, and the rest of this one goes in just like the passenger side did. You can, or like the driver's side did, so you can rewind and watch that. And then next you tie in just the inside too first, and then the black piece has to go on, which overlaps this. So as you saw, these bolts right here are going to get in the way, so they have some tiny flat mount ones that you're supposed to use for that, which we didn't read the directions for, so now we're going to put those on. It should be fine. So the little flat flush piece goes on the outside, and then you screw it into the battery box.
So, of these Allen panhead screws, machine screws, the short ones go on the inside since it only has to go through the bracket and the inner fender. The long ones go on the outside since it has to go through the fender, liner, and bracket.
So a short one is going right in there. And then again, you wait on the outside ones until the black fender goes on, and then the long ones will go through these two outside holes right here and here. Right, so we're putting the fender on, so the black piece on the bottom by his left hand goes underneath the inner fender liner, lines up with the back, and then it slides. Okay.
We're cheating because you have factory rockers protection on.
Yep, so ours is resting on the factory rockers on, which are getting taken off, and Metalcloaks are going on. And then a silver part goes over the top. You want me to lean on it?
Let's loosen that.
Maybe that did help when I loosened up the other one. So this one's already loosened on the other side, so you gotta loosen this so the grill can come forward just a little bit. So this front end's having just a little bit of trouble lining up, so we've got put your 4 screws in back there, and we're gonna tighten them up because that should bring it backwards just enough so that they line up with that. So this is not wanting to come down to get in this hole, but you can see here that bumper is resting on the frame. I'm assuming we weren't supposed to tighten this side up, but now we come over here and we've got this whole side tightened up, and you can see that that bumper is about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch off the frame. So we'll see if we have to loosen this up, but we might not have to. As you can see, I'm not helping, but he just wedged it up there, and now they are lined up. And again, those 2 screws go in the top of the 3 over there. All right, we just dropped the battery back in there, and I'm just remounting that. And then we'll remount this fuse box.
That was easy.